Hello, everybody. Zach here with Zach's Max Muscle, and today we are looking at these three fine young specimens. Wow, look at the calves on these men. Pranked! Ha! It's Skilder coming back at you with another episode of Bodybuilding Theory. And today we're playing a game of Guess That Bodybuilder. Psych, that's not what we're doing because you read the title, but do you know? Can you guess? One of them is obviously Nick Walker. I won't say which. Who are the other two bodybuilders, though? Find out in a second here. But yeah, today we're talking about Nick Walker, and we will be comparing him to these two other bodybuilders here. So, first up, I saw this transformation picture of Nick Walker, and I was like, holy shit, man didn't always have wide waist. What? Let's do a deep dive on this and see if we can find out some more information, right? Because look, that waistline just fat, okay? Here's another picture where he's a little more buff in the before picture, and he still has a nice-ass waist. So, like, what happened to it, right? And here's a picture of him front double bicepping. The picture on the left being older, and you can see the waist getting wider as you move to the right. And that picture on the right isn't even his current waist width. But he is hitting it here differently than he has been recently hitting it with crunched abs, which I think the crunched abs also makes his waist even wider, which you can see in this photo right here. He has crunched abs on the right, looking mad wide as fucking on the left. Looking mad, do you even lift, bro? Except for those arms are insane. Damn, he definitely did lift. But his waist, though, looks like he didn't lift. Man never did a crunch in his life. On the right, he looks like he does 1,000 crunches a day. But yeah, let's have a little look over at the next photo here. And here I compared to his current front double bicep on stage where he's got the crunched abs, and I kind of accidentally cut off the far left picture, but you can see that waist just growing. And, today we just wanted to talk about Nick Walker and why does he look so funny? Like this picture on the far right here, why does he look so funny? I mean, granted, this man is a fucking beast, he's a mutant. That's why they call him the mutant. Looking insane, bro. He's huge. But he just looks wrong, His proportions are just out of whack. And today we're going to investigate that and then see if we can fix his proportions. Make him a better bodybuilder through, body morphing, changing lengths of limbs, surgery, etc. So here's a comparison. Oldest version we have of him to newest version. Overlaid on top. And holy fuck, did he gain some muscle? But also, holy, look at how much wider his waist got. And here we are with the three gentlemen, the subjects who we will be comparing to Nick. We have Mr. Rolly Winklar and Mr. Phil the Gift Heath. Rolly the Beast Winkler. And these are two, Phil's kind of technically still current. He might be retired, but two current bodybuilders with, the best arms in the IFBB. And I think Nick Walker is certainly among the best arms in the IFBB. So that's why I chose these two for comparison. And because they have I would say their front double bicep poses are pretty, unlike Nick's. So we're just going to use them as a comparison to see what's wrong with Nick, dude. And again, here we just have a photo of just Nick. And so what I'm seeing is wide waist, right? And his legs look small. They look very small in comparison to his upper body. So is that short legs? I don't know. But one thing I always seem to see when I look at him is that left quad. If you look at just the quad part, it looks small compared to the rest of his leg. So I think we might have to compare that too and figure that out. So let's moving along. So here we've got their silhouettes, and we overlined Rolly with Nick, made them the equivalent height. So what we're seeing is upper body pretty similar, but you can see Nick, his waist sticking out very far from Rolly's, but also he's kind of got better lats. But I mean, granted, that's just because they're coming from a wider waist, so they would stick out more. But you see, it looks like Rolly's legs come up a little higher, right? So short legs, that's a point right there, and wide waist, something we already suspected. So now we're going to overlay Phil and Nick with making them about the same height. And one thing you can see here is, again, the wide waist. The legs don't seem to be that much longer, but you can just see that if Nick and Phil were the same height, Nick is so much wider upstairs, much broader shoulders. So he's just really out-muscling the hell out of Phil if they were the same height. So now we're just doing an upper body comparison where that elbow width is the same. And we got Rolly on top of Nick here. We're looking at Rolly. They stack up pretty well compared to each other, but again, Nick's waist is sticking out, so, more wide waist points on, subtractions on, points on, whatever, for Nick. Now we're doing Phil with same elbow width, elbow to elbow width. And what you can see here is, wow, their upper bodies match very, very, very similar. Phil's really outclassing him in the forearms, but I feel like when you look at them just normal photos, Nick has the better forearms. But anyways, that's beside the point. Very similar. Very similar. So, when you look at just these two upper body overlays, you'd say, oh, there couldn't be anything wrong with Nick, right? He looks great. Now we put the whole bodies here, and I have a waist matching photo, right? If we match up their waists. So I put Rolly over Nick, and I made their waists the same width. And what we're seeing here is that in the upper body, they're a decent match. I would say Rolly's getting an advantage. As far as, proportions, obviously. We're talking proportions here because we're doing this. But the legs on Rolly are much longer. So you can see, maybe that's why Nick looks so weird. He has some short-ass legs. We're going to do the same with Phil with the waist match. And here you can see, again, longer legs. Phil's ankles, right, are at the bottom of Nick's feet. Now, granted, this could be camera angles. Some of it could be. So the differences might not be this great, but it's just going to show, right? And, again, upper body, Nick's upper body matches up very well. But his legs are short. So, what do we have next? Just for the heck of it, comparing Rolly and Phil with a waist match. And you can see here, actually, as far as their proportion of waist to height, they're both very similar. Leg length, height. So, torso length and leg length. Very similar, but you can see Rolly's just so much wider upstairs, much more broad shoulders, so he's kind of out-muscling Phil in that regard. But that's not what the point of the video is. So now I just wanted to look at the legs, because, I had suspicions of his leg proportions being weird, not just their length, but their proportions as far as muscularity. So we got a comparison of Rolly and Nick here, and I'm seeing pretty similar size as far as, proportionally to length goes. Now we put Phil over, and again, this is even more similar as far as proportion to length. So, he's looking pretty good in that respect. But we're going to take away the outlines here and actually look, because like I said, the quad head seemed small on Nick. So, took an outline of Phil's. Boom, dropped it on to Nick's. And as far as the size, comparable, which we already knew. But now we're looking at, the quad heads. And when you overlay it, very similar again. So what's the issue here, right? Apparently nothing. I'm just an idiot. I don't know. But now we're going to take what we learned. I did take what I learned and I applied it here. So we have wide waist, short legs. And his legs are proportionally to their length pretty much perfect, spot on with what they should be. So I think we just need to take them and make them longer, right? We could even just leave his waist and make his legs longer, but I decided to take his waist, trim it in a bit, because as we saw, it used to be thinner before. I guess when he just started taking a shitload of gear, he made his abs more muscular as well, and I think that's why his waist is so wide, because it's just shitload of ab muscle there. But I just took it and narrowed it down to make him look better, and then I just took his legs and extended them. And look at this version of Nick on the right. Now that's a Mr. Olympia, all right? Nick on the left, his proportions are just too fucked. His waist is a little too fucked. But on the right, that's Mr. Olympia any day. So, again, nothing against Nick. He's a beast. He's insane. He has amazing arms. Definitely among the best, if not the best, in the IFBB right now. But the rest of his body just doesn't bring it together for him. So, here we have our Mr. Olympia on the right. Wowzers. So hope you guys liked the video, and this is Skjolder signing off. Bodybuilding Theory. Fuck with your boys. Subscribe to the channel. Punch your moms in the dick. Ahaha. Aha.